So, you guys were in Christchurch for the 22nd February 2011 big quake, which is just, what, 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks and 2 days ago.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
What happened?
Well, like the news says, we had a 6.4, 10 kilometers away from Christchurch, and we were both living on Cashel Street, which is about, I'd say about 4 to 6 blocks away from like Central City. And we were both at home, and it went off, and I was in the room, and Kevin was in the kitchen, and kitchen stuff went everywhere, and our room was just kind of thrown, like toppled over, and so much stuff was everywhere, and trying to get to the doorway was pretty tough, but we eventually got there, and then once it stopped, we kind of regrouped with the people that were living in the house too, and realized that was an obvious big one, so yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I was in, like Stacey said, I was in the kitchen at the time when it struck, and like I think a lot of people thought it was just going to be a small aftershock because we had felt so many of them up until then. So you didn't really know what to do. You know, you think it's going to just last for a second or two, but then it quickly got quite violent, and I moved to the doorway, and within 5 seconds, pretty much every cupboard in the kitchen was emptied because everything just got kind of thrown into the middle of the kitchen, and it was quite violent.
Yeah.
And tell me about how you got out of the house, Stacy, because you told me something about that before.
Well, yeah, like I was just sitting on the bed, and again, like Kevin just said, like he felt kind of like an aftershock, and that's what I thought it was, and then instantly it was violent, and I stood up and tried to get to the doorway, and was just instantly thrown to the bed again, and then tried to get up again to go to the doorway, and got thrown to the ground the second time, while like the TV was falling and the mirrors were falling and stuff. So I ended up just crawling to the doorway, and by the time I got to the doorway, it was pretty much done. but I was happy I was there just in case if it was going to keep going. So knowing that during an earthquake you go to the doorway or outside if you can, but the doorway is kind of just there, and tried to get there was hard enough. So
that's just the doorway of your bedroom?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I was maybe 4 feet away from it, and just had to crawl. So
wow, that's amazing. To get 4 feet, you had to make 3 attempts.
Yeah.
And to crawl. And what do you do for a living again?
we're both sea kayak instructors in Canada.
So you're like physically fit for a living?
Yes. We do lots of hiking trips, and that was the main purpose of coming here, was to do, we're here for work and travel, but we wanted to do a lot of hiking trips, and we have been, so it's been good. But yes, we should have no problem walking 4 feet to the doorway.
Because your degree is in
outdoor adventure leadership.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got heaps and heaps of professional and educational experience and all that, and walking 4 feet isn't normally a challenge.
No.
Wow.
So.
And then, so after getting thrown around, I guess, you saw each other and maybe other people in the house?
Yeah, we regrouped as like kind of like a whole household, because there was 4 of us in the house, and just kind of talked and just got outside, knowing that there would probably be strong aftershocks, and kind of took a look around our neighbors and that kind of stuff. And already like there was car alarms, fire alarms, like all this going off. So we realized there was a big one, so we kind of grabbed our first aid kits, because we're both living as first responders, and headed downtown just to kind of see if they needed our help, and sure enough they did, and we were kind of the people that were in charge of the minor injuries.
Oh, really?
So we got to Latimer Square, kind of talked to some random guy, and who was a paramedic, and like all the other paramedics were doing major injury stuff, and he was doing the minor injury unit. And then once we were there with our own first aid kit, he kind of was like, okay, you guys stay here, do minor injuries, and I'll be back.
He took off to do something. I'm not sure
I don't know what he did, but
he had to take off. So he said, "You guys feel comfortable doing this on your own?" And we said, "Yeah, sure." Because we do have quite a bit of first aid experience and stuff, so we wouldn't have dealt with anything that was over a comfort zone, because all the paramedics were right there too. So if there was anything serious, we just immediately take them to the paramedics, but anything minor, and we felt comfortable doing. And
so we had a lot of scrapes and like cuts from glasses, like just minor cuts from glass and concrete stuff. So it was,
and shortly after we showed up, then some other people showed up too that were also first aid trained and wanted to help. So it was nice how quickly people came